Bam, hallo, 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 ihr Lieben. Ich bin's, Kirsten, hier in der deutschen Community und es ist ein bisschen her, dass ich jetzt hier live wirklich unterwegs war, aber heute bin ich total happy und glücklich, weil ich habe es mal wieder geschafft, unsere Amerikaner an Bord zu holen. Ich habe heute Katie und Doc mit an Bord und heute sind wir wirklich sehr international. Ich habe gerade was über Doc gelernt, was mich wirklich umgehauen hat. Der Gute ist nämlich mitten in der Nacht für uns aufgestanden. Er sitzt auf Hawaii, dort lebt er seit 38 Jahren. Ich habe direkt gesagt, deswegen ist er auch so gechillt und so entspannt, immer wenn er halt online geht. Und mit den beiden möchte ich heute so ein bisschen über Ecam sprechen. Was gibt es Neues? Was ist geplant? Thema Facebook, Thema M1-Chips von Apple. Aber natürlich auch Meet and Greet und so ein paar Fragen, die in der letzten Zeit auch an mich herangetragen worden sind. Also fühlt euch jetzt bitte frei und wann immer ihr jetzt hier auch Fragen habt, stellt sie einfach und wenn ihr die dann hinterher im Replay habt, dann könnt ihr die auch gerne hinterher im Replay mit dazu posten. Und jetzt bin ich auf jeden Fall total happy und begrüße die beiden erstmal. Hey! I don't know if Doc has seen it. There was a round of applause.
This is awesome. I was just in rapture.
Have you had coffee yet?
No, I was in rapture trying to figure out what I could peel out of that because three of my best friends are German, and we literally talk every day. And every once in a while, two of them are like absolutely fluent, and the other one, my best friend Chris, his dad is German, his mom's Japanese, so like he kind of knows some things, but he's like me, he doesn't know much. So I was just trying to absorb what I could pick out of that. I got America.
And Doc and Katie.
Oh yeah, I got the Doc and Katie. Nichts verstanden Deutsch.
Wow, that's good. No, I just introduced you, but maybe you can do it on your own. I said I really appreciate it that you have the time for us. And today we are in really different time zones because for Katie, it's about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And for Doc, it's the early morning. You are on Hawaii. That's great. So, oh my God. Maybe if we are quiet, we can hear the shore. So maybe you can give us some words about yourself, introduce yourself. Maybe there's someone who don't know you.
Okay,
Katie, will you start?
Yeah, sure. So hi, everyone. If you don't know me, I am Katie Fox, and I am the Director of Marketing at Ecam. I've been on the team for about 2 years now. Really love getting to hang out with all kinds of different content creators and live streamers and marketing professionals and everyone that are using video and Ecam Live to improve their businesses and reach people. Yeah, and it's fun to be back in this group again. I love getting to jump on and chat with people. So thank you for the opportunity.
You're welcome. So Doc, about you?
Okay, so I'm Doc. I'm the community manager at Ecam. I've been live streaming since the image was 320 by 240, so quite a while. I found Ecam a little more than a year ago. I previously was a Wirecast person, which I hated every inch of it. So when I found Ecam, I fell in love with it. And I was like, you know what? I want more people to be able to tell their story. So I want to just help people learn how to use the software because I believe everyone has a story built in that they're just dying to get out. And even if it's like, people's like, well, I need 1 million people. No, you need like 10. If you got 10 people that'll pay attention to you, that's good enough. So I started wanting to teach people how to do that. And then last little known secret, one of my favorite foods in the world is Rahmschnitzel.
So I do the same nearly in Germany. I want to help people to get online, to tell their story because there's so much stuff we can tell and everyone has their own story. And I think Ecam is a great way to do it because it's so intuitive. You don't have to learn really hard stuff like Wirecast, as you said, or also OBS, I have to say. That's quite too complicated for most of the content creators I know.
Yes. You spend a lot of time moving sliders. and pressing buttons. And if you're busy moving sliders and pressing buttons and trying to, build a very technical thing, you lose focus on the content because you're busy being technical. So at some point you have to like put that stuff away, hide it from yourself, and then just drive, so to speak. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And he can give us all the things we need. We have the sliders here also. We have the transitions. We have a small part of audio stuff, what we can deal with it. And as you can see, I've changed my audio setup through the last time. I also have my Rodecaster Pro, but now I've changed back to one of my favorite microphones. It's a Rode NT-USB Mini, because Rode released the virtual audio interface with Rode Connect, and this is a really good software, and it really works great with Ecamm.
Yeah, you sound great. And we didn't have
it's right there. That's what I see. I love that microphone. That microphone is awesome because you can use it with like an iPad and things like that.
Absolutely.
So to me, it's my favorite traveling. If I got to go somewhere or I just want to go hide in the closet to get better sound, I can take it, lock, close the door in the closet, put a couple jackets in front of you, and you get amazing tone. Like it's really good.
But what's crazy about this kind of microphone, I have a lot of clients and I tell them, use this microphone because you have a great software and you can just use it by plug and play. You don't have to think about, how's the loudness in the room and is there a dog outside or anything, but they use it, especially women. They put a microphone like there and then they sit like this and wondering why the sound is so bad. And then I tell them, this is a special microphone for a podcaster, and you have to be about 20, 30 centimeters away from the microphone to get the best sound.
It is a mindset thing. I find myself doing that sometimes too. I have this one here off camera, but I'm
that's a Shure SM7B. Great.
I'm in the office, you guys. Normally, I have the same Shure microphone, but it is hard to kind of get used to like how close things feel or how you feel in your space and how everything works out. So that makes sense to me.
That's the same with the headsets. I know that that's a big question that I think especially Doc gets in the English community all the time. Why there's an echo with my sound? Do I have the headphones? Why do I have to use them? Yes, you have to use them. You have to use them when you want to monitor your own sound and don't want to have the echo.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking like I like how you can put it behind your head, it still will fit.
Yep.
I don't have hair to hide the wires, but if you have even just a short bob haircut, you can put the wire behind, let the hair hang down, and no one will know that you have them on, right? But when you pull your hair back like me, then you're gonna see the people. That joke doesn't translate.
Cares. Like I feel like we overthink that to death. No one is sitting there watching your video going like, oh man, those people are wearing headphones. I can't watch it. It's way too distracting.
But I have to say, when I do a live stream for about 2 hours, sometimes I do it in my own community. When I teach people how to do live streaming, I won't use this kind of headsets. I use a big one, like this one. That's a biodynamic. So this one hurts when I go live for over about 30 minutes to an hour. Then I have to change it.
Yeah,
I got a secret for you, Kristen.
Yeah,
there is something that you should be able to find on Amazon.de. It's called SpinFit. SpinFit is a company that makes really soft silicone rubber tips that fit here. And what happens is they flex a little bit, so they're way more comfortable when they hit your ear. So you take the built-in ones off, and they get SpinFits. Now, most of these are 4.5 millimeter, but you might need to get a caliper to measure the thing that sticks out so that you get the right SpinFits. But yeah, it's way more comfortable, and I've worn these 5 hours, no problem.
Yeah, it's a great tip. Great tip. I have to check it out. We have a link for me, an affiliate link, so you can earn something with your tip.
I don't know if they work from the German store, but I'll send you the link anyway.
Great. So for anyone who is watching right now, please write your questions into the comment field and give us a sign that you are here, because we are waiting for you. And today and do it like this.
That's awesome.
I love it. And if you're watching on replay, we hang out here in this group from time to time. So definitely tag us in any questions. We're happy to follow up and answer anything afterwards as well.
Absolutely. And I also prepared some questions, so we're gonna start right now. And
Okay.
the first question is, what's new about Ecamm? What has been released in the last 2 updates? I mean, I said it to Katie in the German community, or especially in Germany, there are not so many people who speak English fluently, and most of the people in my age or also younger people, they give up when everything is in English, and so they don't get the newest updates. They have to wait until like persons like Tobias and I tell them, you have to update. There is a bug in the latest version. So what's new in Ecamm?
Yeah, please update. We actually, over the last couple of days, have released just a couple of smaller updates that have fixes in them related to recent updates from Facebook. So if you are live streaming to Facebook and you are having problems logging in, you need the newest version of Ecamm Live. The most recent like feature-rich update was version 3.8, and that came out a month or so ago. Mm-hmm. The biggest feature within that one that everyone was super excited about was preview mode, and that's the ability to make changes while you are live without your viewers seeing anything. So if you need to, add an extra scene or move something around, or maybe you spelled someone's name wrong and you need to update or edit, you can do all that behind the scenes in Ecamm Live without your viewers being any wiser. So it was a huge ask from many, many of our users.
I know.
And even potential users who are like, we want to move over to Ecamm, but this is a really important thing. So that's the biggest one. There were a ton of other smaller ones, including things like there are a lot of updates to comments, so you can now search comments and favorite
That's
comments.
my favorite. That's my favorite one, hands down. Yeah, because if someone asks a question and you want to be able to, hey, I'm open, and you want to be able to come back to that question later because you don't want to break your train of thought. This is very important for someone like me whose train tracks for train of thought is about this long. So if I stop to answer your question, when I'm finished the question, I'll be like, where were we? And then everyone laughs at me. So now I can start as like, I see you, I'll get back to you, and I'll keep going, and then I'll come back to the question. So very handy for that. And also just as a way, because when you initially end the stream, your questions will remain in the comment box until the next time you start, right?
Yeah.
So if you start questions, you can move those to your pad or take screenshots of them. That is how you grow your content. Because those are the questions that your community is asking you. So if you save those questions and put them to the side, I need to make a video about that. I need to make a blog post about that. I need to make an email about that. That is one of the best pro tips that I don't think a lot of people talk about, but save your starred questions so that you can generate content from what your folks are asking.
And when you start doing this, you won't get out of work anytime. So since I've started this, I've been busy for hours and hours and hours to prepare all that content in tutorials, in live streams, in podcasts, and in any way.
Yeah, definitely. So that one was a huge one. The other one that was a group
Backstage
of features,
talk.
I guess. Sorry. Before I get into that, was all the ability to talk backstage with your guests. So whether when you're rolling a video clip or, or you have a couple of people speaking on camera in your backstage, if you and one of the guests or multiple guests are all muted, it opens up a backstage channel so that you can talk with each other, which has been asked, again, another highly requested feature and an improvement to our interview mode.
It's very handy.
Super handy. The final one is a grouping of features that are all in kind of the overlay world and space. So there's a bunch of updates to widget overlays, so the ability to have those awesome moving widgets on screen that are triggered by various different triggers, and then a lot of improvements to WebM graphics that you can pull on screen, so you can now have
something
audio
like this,
and a lot more.
Come on. Where is
Come
it?
on.
This is it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So a lot more customization and functionality in particularly in moving animations and graphics that you can have on screen. And a lot of if you are watching our we on Unfulgens in the English community do a weekly show called ENN where they show all the different news updates and everything that comes out is happening. So they use a lot of text overlays. So they actually create their entire show just natively within Ecamm Live using the text overlay tools. So there were a lot of updates and based on feedback from them that the guys put into version 3.8 to just make it a little bit more powerful and easier to customize. So things like, rounded corners and a lot of different kind of tips and tricks that you can use there. So if you're not ready to hire a designer or build out or play around with some of these moving graphics, there's a lot you can do just using the text overlays built right within Ecamm.
Yeah.
One of the cool things about the WebM too, I don't know if you paid attention to it, folks, but when Kristen pushed the like buttons, there's a small audio to that. It used to be in the past when you were using a transparent overlay, you couldn't attach audio, but with WebM format, which is off of VP9, it can actually attach audio so you can get a nice transition. But the other thing that goes missed, and I've done a couple tutorials on this in the community, it will make your file smaller. So if you wanted to push a graphic and that graphic was say, the movie was say like 100 megabytes, by changing it to WebM format, you can get it down to 10. Like you can get a 90% reduction depending on what the graphic is doing and maintain the transparency and the sound. And so it will help you if you have a, say, less powerful machine.
Absolutely. And this is one of the updates I love the most, I have to say, because I want to entertain my audience. And now I can do a lot of stuff. And I have another tool called Create Studio. Maybe you heard about it. That's software where you can do some animation and you don't need something like After Effects or Apple Motion. That's also a pain in the ass for people like me. I'm not a graphic designer. I just want to do it intuitive and create stuff, close the gap. And now I can do so crazy things. Also, these overlays with WebM, and that's really great. And I use them for different kind of content.
Yeah.
I'm just
that's
laughing
all
at
Did I
your
miss anything? Did I miss anything, Doc? I'm trying to think if there's anything else that was.
No, I think that was the major ones because I was going to say web. Oh yeah, and we got LinkedIn Live. If you are a LinkedIn practitioner, we can stream to LinkedIn Live now as well.
I don't know if it's easy in the US to stream to LinkedIn. In Germany, you have to apply for it. It's so crazy. I've applied for it 5 times and now I gave it up. So I said, if they don't want me, I don't want them. I stay on Facebook and YouTube, and so go home.
You are not alone. That is how many people.
Kristen, 100% welcome to my world. The funniest thing to me is my application said that I don't have enough live streaming experience.
Yeah, they told me the same.
And I was like, "Oh, you're funny, LinkedIn. You're so cute." So I just laughed.
I know it was one of those things we worked for forever to get access to, and then it was such a bummer because so many of our users can't actually use it. So yeah, it's there. It's there for if and when they ever open it up.
But as you talked about Facebook, I mean, Facebook give us all a hard time in the last weeks and month, and it's so crazy. Not just the interface changes every time, also the connection to Ecamm, to Zoom, and Restream, and what kind of stuff you use. Everything change all the time. What do you think about the planned updates for the summer? They say they're gonna give us something like Clubhouse, but on Facebook. Will it also have an impact on Ecamm? Will you prepare something for it? What do you think about it?
You know what's funny about that update is I don't think that they're ready yet, but I believe part of the reason why we're having trouble with standard live streaming is they are moving resources in order for that beta to roll out. And then so it's affecting their standard platform. So if they've learned, hopefully they've learned that they're not quite ready. So they're going to have to do some infrastructure improvements before they even think about adding the audio function, because right now it's completely affecting not even just live streaming, random posts. You'll go to say random posts like, hey, I took the dog out for a walk today. Look what I saw. And it says post failed. So if it's having trouble posting a general, you know, I accidentally stepped into a pile of dog speech, then you don't, they're not ready. They're just not ready. So hopefully they push it back a little bit.
But we're talking about Facebook, and they do the same about since 20 years. So they roll out something, and then they realize it doesn't work. I just have to say the Creator Studio. I mean, that's crazy. This stuff is really crazy. I had a live stream 2 days ago in a group, and they asked me, Kirsten, if I want to do some overlays to my live stream, what do I have to use? And I asked them, okay, if you have a Mac, use Ecamm. If you don't have a Mac, you have to go with OBS or something like this. But can't I use a Creator Studio? Okay, you can use it, but it won't work. So that's all I have to say.
Yeah, if you want to try. I think that they're also guilty of trying, as usual, trying to do too many things at once. Like on one hand, they're trying to introduce a competitive product to Clubhouse, and they're focused on that. But then there's a bunch of articles coming out saying that they're also working on trying to get live shopping up and running, and then they've been making all kinds of different improvements that bump up in and against live streaming. But then they also still haven't finished their full integration of live streaming with events, which they've been saying that they're going to do for forever, but it's still closed, and none of the tools like Ecamm Live can connect into it. So they're still releasing unfinished products and moving to release more unfinished products at the same time. So we have the same stance that we've always had. You know, we have a huge portion of our audience who are using Facebook on a very regular basis. I mean, we certainly have groups and we exist on Facebook. So we'll do everything we can to respond and make sure that our users are able to do what they need to do. But it's also notoriously difficult to be able to even understand what Facebook is doing, let alone try to get someone from their end to listen to us or hear what's important from our perspective. So we're doing the best, and we're keeping an eye on it, and we're watching closely for when people say that things are going wrong.
Yeah, but it's really crazy. I get a lot of questions in the German community and also in my communities for content creators, and they ask me, Ecamm doesn't work, it's a really bad thing. And I say, what doesn't work? And then they tell me the story, and they say, no, it has nothing to do with Ecamm. You will have the same thing with Zoom, with Skype, with everything when you want to go live on Facebook. It's a Facebook problem. It's a big Facebook problem.
They have a lot. You have to be careful too. And I know this messes me up because I forget to switch back and forth. When I go to YouTube, for instance, I stream in 4K, and I do that for a reason. Everyone says, why do you do that? Nobody can see it. It's not about the people seeing. It's about being able to chop those elements up and reshare them in other social media. So by starting with a bigger piece of material, I can chop better. I can do more stuff, right? So I like to record everything in 4K. Also future-proofing in case, someone later on says, hey, do you have this? I'm like, yeah, back then I was streaming at such a high quality that when we're 8K, mine will still look good. Your 721 will look like about this big. So Facebook, though, they force you to do 720. So before I would just say 4K, Facebook would smash it to 720 and it's fine. Now it fails all the time. So I have to remember every day, because I stream every day in the Ecamm community except weekends, I have to remember to switch it to 720 and then remember to switch it back to 4K. And remembering that at almost 55, not a good look. So I need a giant blue 720 sign and a red 4K sign just to remind myself to switch back and forth, because it drives me batty. But Kristen, you're so right. Like, Facebook has its challenges, and I think the best thing any creator can do now is realizing that Facebook has an identity crisis. So the way you work around this is you slowly start teaching your community to come to YouTube. Even for us at Ecamm, we have been slowly teaching our community to come watch the shows on YouTube. Yes, the conversation best lives in Facebook. It's hard to beat that. But the presentations, if you will, those are better had on YouTube. And it's just the way the nature is.
Better. And we found, I mean, even with multi-streaming, I have to be honest that, like, when we were trying to do it to even just Facebook and YouTube, the experience is just so much nicer and easier for people on YouTube that it made in many cases more sense for us to just be like, okay, let's just drop the link and pull everyone back over there, with the exception of when we need to live stream within our Facebook groups, because we're creating like a closed experience for just the users within that group. But Facebook doesn't make it easy as far as comments and engagement. It's tricky. I mean, they just introduced stars, so they're
oh my God,
they're trying to catch up with monetization, with all these other features that exist on the other platforms, but they're just so far off from where YouTube is and where other platforms are. That's
a good point. To earn money on Facebook, it's quite impossible. I mean, I have a Facebook fan page with about 6,800 followers. I mean, it's a bigger page, but I won't earn money with it. I have to get 10,000 followers, active followers, to use the stars. And on YouTube, I can have a monetization when I have 1,000 followers, and I can do my own membership. I can prepare it all on my own. That's much easier. And as you said, Doc, it's more comfortable with all the technique. I can use I film here with a Canon 6D way overweight camera for Facebook, but I also love filming in 4K. So I use this stuff. Yeah.
I have a question for you. Do you have Buy Me a Coffee yet?
Yeah. Yeah. But in Germany, no one use it. I do have it. But in Germany, they're all skeptical.
So that's going to be one of those things where you have to train the community, not just for yourself, but for them as well. If they're content creating, you can monetize day one. You start your channel if you do Buy Me a Coffee, and change it to something not coffee. Change it to schnitzel, change it to beer, change it to buy me a BMW, change it to whatever.
Buy me some sauerkraut. So
exactly.
I was all good until you said it's the one thing I can't eat. I don't know why.
I love sauerkraut. That's my favorite.
But yeah, as you adjust it accordingly to match your community. Like one of my friends changed his to gadget just because everybody knows he's a gadget person. And so what happens is, it's one of those things where your brother-in-law calls you and say, hey, can you help me install something? And I'm like, yeah. And then I just send him to Buy Me a Coffee link. And he's like, this dude is literally going to charge me like $5 to do this. And I'm like, yeah. And then just out of whatever, he'll send me like 20. And then, okay, now I got you. And he's like, what did you do that for? And I'm like, well, because I got to buy more gear for my studio. So you always bug me. So if we were out, you would have bought me a beer. We can't go anywhere. So you just bought me a beer.
Yeah.
And that's how you do it. And you'd be surprised at how fast that starts to spin up. And then you can use that to help you with your content creation. Yeah. So it's about setting a mindset for just, little things. And if you were going to start a business, if you were going to start a dog care center or something, you would ask your friends and family to help you with the funding in order to start your business. It's just the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's totally different.
I don't know, maybe it's a special German thing, because in Germany we have a lot of people grabbing all the stuff for free. And I've tried it with Buy Me a Coffee and Patreon. I tried it all. I give it another try. I don't want to say, no, it doesn't work, but I have the experience when I send them the link. So, no, then I'm going to ask another one. I have one situation I remember. I had a guy in this German community, and he asked me all the stuff about the camera. Shall I buy the Sony ZV-1 or the Canon M50, and which microphone, and so. And I gave him some tips, and then he asked me, what can I do for you now? And I said, okay, first of all, you can buy me a coffee, or if you want to spend more money, you can buy my German Ecam course, or something like this. And I've never seen him again. A few days later, I've seen this guy asking the same questions in the English community, asking for advice, and I sent him a message and I said, hey, we have talked about it. I can help you, and I've already helped you. I can give you more information, and he just disappeared. So that's really crazy.
It takes me back to we were at Ad World. What was it? 2 weeks ago now?
2 weeks ago, yes.
Yeah, it's all a blur. 2 weeks ago, and Pat Flynn, who is incredible, one of his session, he said this thing that really resonated with me, where he said that you can present content in 2 different ways to people and let them choose. And so here is the free way that you can do this. So you want to learn about a camera, or you want to learn how to live stream, or you want to learn how to do, here are all of the different steps that you need to take, and the resources you need, and all the articles you have to read through, and the recommendations, and all of the work you need to do. And here's the hassle-free way that you can do it, but it costs you this amount of money. And you're welcome to choose.
Yes.
Like, if you want to learn how to do it, then you're going to need to take all of these steps to work all the way through. And that's fine. There's lots of people that can't afford it, don't need or want to spend the money, are happy to do the research or work all their way through. And that's fine. We're happy to provide all the resources to do that. But if you want someone that's going to handhold you, who has curated all of that information, who has that experience and is there to answer your questions, then you're likely going to have to pay for a consultation time, for a course, it's just part of business.
Even having it in a vertical list, right?
Yeah.
If you have to search around, you spending time searching around, you might waste 10 minutes just trying to find the correct video.
Yeah.
When you get it in a course, it's in a vertical format.
Absolutely.
You go from 1 to 20, and then your time is less wasted. So you will find that people who realize their time is valuable, they'll take care of it. But it is hard, especially for our younger community, to teach them their time value thing. But after you get past a certain age and stuff starts hurting, you realize time is valuable, or you'll pay just to get it done.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That's the reason, or that's the way how I grow my community. And I have people there about 40 years and older, and they appreciate it that I give them time back for the money. So they don't have to hustle with all that stuff. And I know it's really hard time also to think about not just for live streaming, but content creation. Which program shall I use? Shall I use Final Cut? Shall I use Adobe Premiere? Shall I use Camtasia, ScreenFlow, and all the things? And I put all this information together, and they can learn it from me. And I will tell them, okay, if you have this, you can go this way or this way. And when you want to learn how to use it, buy my course. So it works.
Very good. Yeah, smart.
Absolutely.
So
saving people time is the winner.
Absolutely. Time is the most important thing in our world right now. I think everyone realized it in the last 12 months how important time and family time is, and how we have been blessed in the years before. So
true story.
You said Facebook is in an identity crisis, in your opinion, and that brings me to another company that has been in an identity crisis, but I think they solved it. It's about Apple. I mean, I love Apple. I'm an Apple girl. I have everything from Apple, and I would stay in an Apple store the whole night, the whole weeks to try everything out. And I've seen the last show on TV, on Apple TV, and I couldn't close my mouth when I heard about the new iPad Pro 12.9 with the M1, and I realized this thing will be the biggest game changer in my whole content creation, because what I realize is that all the software companies are working on getting this stuff together. What do you think about it? Is it a big change for everyone? And will it also change the big live stream community? I mean, 2 years ago, everyone laughed at me when I said I have an Apple, I have a Mac, and I want to do live streaming. They said, that's really funny. You have to buy a Windows or a Razer or whatever. And now everyone is curious about the Macs. What do you think about it?
Okay, so here's the thing that's going to make the difference. And I bring this up all the time, but sometimes I don't think people hear me, so I'll keep repeating myself until it sticks in.
For those of you in the back.
What you're doing right now, Kristen, is a large portion of live streaming, but it's 25%.
Yep.
Okay, 75% of your live streaming journey exists before you go live.
Absolutely.
Generating the graphics, chopping up, clips, doing your research, building other informative slides or things that you can use to hammer your point home. All of the above. These things are the base to what is your prettiness of your live stream. So that stuff tends to take almost as much power as streaming itself, right? Yeah. So the fact that you're going to be able to sit on your iPad somewhere in a cafe or, out in the forest somewhere underneath a lovely Tannenbaum, you can sit there and, do all your work. The M1 Mini is so ridiculous fast that it's mind-blowing. I think some people still can't believe it because it doesn't make sense. They're still trying to wrap their head around how can 8 gigs do what this 64 gig iMac can do. Yeah, it does it better. My iMac here is a almost $4,500, so $4,400 fully loaded iMac. That $800 Mini is faster in most tasks. And it only has 16 gigs. This has 64.
And so, it's affordable. Like it's not,
it's affordable.
One of the big sticking points for Apple has always been that it's significantly more expensive than just going with a more powerful, better PC, right? But now it's not. Now it's on par, and in many cases cheaper. Yeah. So I think it definitely does change things a lot for a lot of people.
So this iPad is so ridiculous fast. Like most of the reviews just came out today. So Renee is my homie. So of course I watch Renee. And then I watched a couple of the photo video guys, and then when we're done, I'll watch Marquez while I have another cup of coffee. And yeah, I'm behind. So the concept of how fast this thing can move is one thing, but then just the freedom to be able to edit your videos, do your social media content marketing. I use an application called Agora Pulse. And Agora Pulse just recently added the ability to edit in Canva directly from Agora Pulse. So I posted a video yesterday explaining how you can up your social media scheduling, because like the graphics that you sent and your pre-show, letting people know that Katie and I were coming, that is so well done. And I think a lot of people forget that part. They're so worried about all of this part, what we're doing now, but I'm getting a masterclass from this kid that works with us named Caleb, and I just laugh at him. I talked to him the other day, and I'm like, Caleb, you're mind blowing, because his ability to do all of that stuff to have everybody ready is even letting me know that for my personal show, I need to be more Caleb-like or Kristen-like and do those things. So now where the benefit comes from is with the iPad, you get to places where you're waiting for something. Right. Yeah. So like you go to the doctor, you're sitting there for 20 minutes. In that 20-minute time frame, I could open up Skillshare or YouTube or lynda.com or something and, process and learn something. So that I'm ready to go. Or I can generate social media posts. I can edit a video. So it's different, people. It's really different. And in theory, mine comes in June, but I'm going to the store at 6 a.m. on Friday. And
send us a picture of it.
So I'm going to set my place in line and then call somebody to sit for me. I got to come back to the house. Apple Store is right down the street. So I got to do my Ecamm demo and run back so that as soon as they open at 9, Friday's demo would be 45 minutes instead of an hour, people, because I got to get to the Apple Store.
Friday's demo is from your phone live from the line.
I'm like, no, Katie, this is my studio. How come it looks like the Apple Store? Nothing.
That's awesome.
That's so crazy what this company has done. Also since Steve Jobs died, everyone thought, oh my God, Apple will die. And I think they lost the way in a kind of way because they have lost the way to creativity. But now they are back on the track. So especially what you said, the content creation on an iPad, the cutting, that's now possible. I mean, and there are a lot of applications Big applications, I tried some on the iPad. I mean, I use LumaFusion for years now, but now I've checked out KineMaster, VLLO, and they are also really exciting for content creator. You don't want to go so deep into the cutting stuff and editing stuff. So there are a lot of solutions, but with the new iPad, if I understood it right, you can plug your monitor to it via the Thunderbolt. And now I'm just waiting for a Final Cut solution for my iPad. That would be great.
Coming.
I hope so.
I'm gonna put money on August.
You think?
Ooh,
okay.
Place some bets.
I don't know. I don't know if you noticed, but Steve was my boss. Like I used to work at Apple, and when we walked around campus, we were so terrified of him that there was a joke about getting fired, because like if he would ask you a question and you didn't know the answer, you might get fired. So like people would literally cringe. He'd walk into the cafeteria to go to order some food, and everybody's like, "I hope you don't talk to me. I hope you don't talk to me. I hope you don't talk to me. Hey, how's it going? How's it going?" Like, you just, he would just say hello, and it was like you were so afraid. Like it was super funny, but he used to sit in the top of his office and just look over the whole campus, and he can see everything. So even when you walk through the courtyard from the cafeteria back to the master building, everybody would look into the fourth floor and try to see if you can see in the window to see if he's there, and then if he was there, you'd be like, look at the ground, walk faster, and try to get out before over the speaker. Hey, excuse me, badge number 358. Can you come up here? Oh my God. So yeah, it was a very interesting time, and really miss Steve. That when he passed, as a nerd, even not even just as an employee at the time, as a nerd, even losing Steve was a big deal. But I think one of the things that I most got out of that was he was 56, right? So he wasn't very old. So it was like, oh, you know what? You got to stop messing around. If you really want to do something, you have to go ahead and do it. You can't mess around because you just don't know.
Yeah.
And that has been a game changer. And like you said, one of the things that they had to do is learn to re-identify themselves.
Yeah.
And so the best thing that Tim did with the company was not try to be Steve. Tim had to be Tim. Yeah. And although everybody was mad at him for 5 years while he was doing it, now look where he is. And honestly, I still say we're much further now. We're much further now than we probably would have been with Steve, because Steve was a little over the top with the control. He had the vision, but his control didn't normally let his minions run. Hence our scared stories, right? No one walks around campus scared of Tim. He's just not, because he's not that type of person. I call more anti-Tim. He's very motherly and nurturing, and he wants to bring the best out of you. Steve was squeezing the best out of you with a stick. Tim is bringing the best out of you with, come on, let's get this done. We got to get this done. Our customers depend on it. So for Tim, it's about the products as he says, and it's about the customers. And I think one of the things that attracted me to Ecam is for the twins, it's about the customers. Like everything in their head is about you guys. Look, okay, but how are the customers going to feel about this? How are the customers going to feel about this? And part of me wants to be like, no, man, the equipment doesn't do that. We got to do it this way. And it's like, but our customer, okay, you're right. Like I know better coming from Apple that it's, really about the customers. But I will say that about the twins, they're very focused on what you guys want.
Absolutely.
And about making sure that what you want doesn't make it too complicated for the greater good of the group of customers. That is a
hard line. That is an extremely hard line, and they do a good job at it. And I don't think people understand, if we gave you all of what you asked for, the application would be so huge and so slow that it would no longer, it would be like OBS.
Absolutely.
Sorry.
Absolutely.
I didn't say that out loud. I just slipped out.
Have you said anything? No. But I think the same way. I've worked for Disney, 30 years ago, and we had the same experience. Customer is everything, customer experience. And the same I feel here with Ecam, and that's the reason why I'm so connected to Apple, and also I have to say to Starbucks. It's also one of these companies who really care about the customer. So
that
brings me, it's about 45 minutes. It's really crazy. It's so much fun having
So
you
fast,
here on
yeah.
the show. It's really, we could talk the whole night. For me, the whole night. For you, the whole day. But anyway, when we talk about Apple, will there be a mobile solution for Ecamm? I mean, with the iPad Pro, you opened the door right now. And will there be something,
The
not
one
this
thing
year,
I want
but
to
maybe
warn
next year?
everybody, the one thing I want to warn everybody is they have the same processor, but they don't speak the same language.
Yeah.
Okay, so to make that easier, everybody here has a heart and eyeballs, nose, you know, hair, except me, heart, lungs, everything, but nichts verstanden Deutsch. I speak English, Japanese, Spanish, Korean, and some Hawaiian, but I don't speak a lick of German other than I drive a BMW. That's it. So you cannot just pick up the same processor and drop it in a new body and expect it to speak the same language. It's not that easy. I can't speak for what they will do. If it's viable, trust me, they started. If it's not viable because it's harder to do, or not, I wouldn't say it's harder to do. It's not very, it's not going to be beneficial to you the way you think it is. Then it's not going to happen right away. I know that's everybody's wish because everybody thinks M1, but they're not the same.
Yeah. I will say that this is the first time that they've thought about it or discussed it, though. Like it now, the iPad is now in a place. The iPad is now in a place from a powerful standpoint that they're able to even consider it. So it's not, you know, it's something that previously just wouldn't have even been something that would have been worth considering. So no plans directly on the roadmap, but something that we're watching closely. And like Doc said, I think it takes a lot of
I will say I want it just so I can let you know I feel like you. Okay. I feel like I also like my job. So no, I feel like you. I do want it, and I do understand where it would be beneficial, but I just want to throw the big warning to everyone for all your favorite apps. It's not even Ecamm, for everything out there. It is not a direct translation.
Yeah,
so
it's not like
there are certain things when you go to Google Translate, it will not sound right to you because it's not a direct translation. There is a entirely different infrastructure built into the iPad that's not there. So yeah, they're smart by using the same processor. It saved them a lot of money. It saved them billions of dollars on redyeing, which is, you know, the machine that presses chips. Having to build a whole new machine fabrication, they save a lot of money if they can make 7-8 machines run off the same processor. But but let's keep our fingers crossed. Let's just think positive, because I would love that,
right? So,
and with the 5G chip. Oh, imagine a 5G. I could actually do my Ecamm demo from the Apple Store while I'm waiting for the next thing. And then Kitty's like, "Where you at? Office?"
Yeah, no, we're a work anywhere company.
Why does it see Starbucks in the back, Doc? It's just green screen. Yeah, green screen.
Green screen. Yeah. Oh, I love it.
Oh my God.
I can't imagine an instance of us feeling even kind of bad about you live streaming from the Apple lineup outside. It feels very Ecamm to me.
I think of all of the cool things we could do if we could actually run that on an iPad and be out and about, especially when we get back to conferences and things like that, or, you know, like you're traveling. I'm standing atop this mountain. I am streaming to you live, like from the Matterhorn. Like that would be so crazy. It'd be cold, but it would be so crazy.
It definitely opens up a lot of possibilities, and I think it's at least now on the table whether or not we're able to get all the way there. How long it takes.
Present it next year when there will be maybe a meet and greet in real life, and that brings me to my last point. I heard something about there will be maybe a meet and greet this year, but virtual, and next year when we can travel again. So also the European people like me from Germany, Austria, and Switzerland can travel. Will there be something next year? Do you know something about it? What are the plans for it?
Yeah, it is the plan. So we last year launched our first ever virtual conference called Leap into Live Streaming Bootcamp. We are doing that again in September 13 through 16. So that is we're in planning and we're finalizing schedules, and we'll get that information out soon to everyone. We definitely want to do meetups, but we want people to feel comfortable enough to travel. And I know that that is not the case across the world right now. It's certainly starting to get a little bit, feeling a little bit better here in the United States, but it's not even, it is not that case in Canada, and they're right next door to us. So I know that the rest of the world is definitely having a hard time. So probably, you know, spring 2022 will give us enough time to start planning things out. Yeah, we're just trying to figure out what exactly that will look like, you know, how many different places we want to get to. You know, likely it might be the case of, you know, attending a larger conference and then doing some meetups in and around that, so that people are able to make the best investment in traveling and getting places. We did that at Social Media Marketing World right before the world shut down. So we went as a team to that conference, and then we did a Ecamm meetup and like special invite only event for all of our Ecamm customers that were attending the conference and anyone that was local to that area. And it worked really, really well, and it was a lot of fun. So that kind of situation, I think, is something that we'd love to do again. Just figuring out the logistics of it. Ken said that it would be fine to do anything that was in a tropical location or beachside, or so. We're definitely itching to travel as well, and would love to be able to get out.
I've already started building an additional wing to my condo to house all of the employees.
Exactly.
Like, I with you, Kristen, though. Like I love conferences. Again, my best friend Patrice, I met her originally at Macworld conference. Like almost 15 years ago, and we've been podcast partners. We've been best friends forever, and currently she's in Austria, but she's from Koblenz, and so like we literally talk every single day. So it's kind of funny that I would have never thought as a child that, number one of my best friends in the entire planet would live all the way in the classical music album. And I would talk to her almost every single day of my life. And we've been podcasting together for over 13 years on the British Tech Network.
Awesome.
And yeah, it's a thing. Like, so the fact that I get so irritated when the people on television that are just espousing things like, oh, you can't have any real friends online. And I'm like, yeah, you can.
Stupid.
Yeah, you can. Like, that is the dumbest thing I ever heard of, because my closest friends I've gathered all from online. And even my company right now, we met through Ecamm, and we decided to build an entire company, and none of us have seen each other in meet space at all. I've met one user from the entire Ecamm community, one of the doctors who was out here doing some work with his wife. And he's like, hey, I'm here. I'm like, all right, cool. I'll come meet you at the mall. So yeah, and then we met at the Apple Store. Come on. Hello. Right? And then we walked around the mall. We got to talk story. He's a fantastic guy. Come to find out, he's not too far from where I grew up back in East, you know. So when I go back East, I can go visit him there. But incredible stuff like that. And yes, Meet Space will be fun. I can't wait till the Ecamm Con happens, and we all get to have a blast and practice things in real time, and, you know, try to break stuff, because, you know, that's what we nerds do. Tinker. It'll be a blast.
Yeah, just
trivia game.
Exactly. Just hang out and play. We are trying to think through ways to do some of that digitally leading up to when we can meet in person too. So Doc's been trying to think through. We have a license now for Run the World. So we have a bunch more opportunities for doing like virtual networking events, or, you know, pop-ups, cocktail hours, different things that we can do to get people together.
Yeah, I tried Meetup. I'm looking at meetup.com. But it's a little clunky, so I'm looking for another thing. What I want to be able to say is, we'll call today like Ecamm Meetup Day, right? And so if you're in your community, find the other users nearby you using the group, and you guys can pick a location, and we'll all meet that day and take photos and generate like a bunch of Instagram trouble through a meetup day, because we do that for Photoshop. We have World Photoshop Meetup Day, and we have World Instagram Meetup Day. So same thing.
Cool.
That would be
I think it's all as you said, no, it's a part of our mindset. I also agree with you. I met so many people during the last 18 months staying in quarantine. I feel it's like years, but it started last year in March for me. And since then, I'm on my own in my quarantine with my friend. But I met so many people like you. I mean, it's crazy. I'm talking to Katie and I'm talking to Doc, and I've realized Doc on YouTube with one of his tutorials, and I was so impressed of your voice and your calmness in and how you explained everything. And now I'm talking to you. That's really crazy. So I love all this.
I find it crazy that you think I'm calm.
I just think it's amazing that we can.
Like, oh, he's not calm. He's lying.
I love it. No, I think it's amazing that we're able to get to know each other better through all of the different ways. I mean, I talk to my best friend who is in Montreal on an hourly basis, really, like whether it's we're like texting back and forth or video chatting, or I've been like in all the different ways. And for the longest time, she was like, let's do a video chat on Thursday nights. And I was like, let's not do video. Let's just do. And now it just feels so like comfortable and easy. And
absolutely. Yeah.
You know, and it does feel like you're able to spend more like there is all that time that we weren't able to spend together in real life, either because we were far apart or just because life is just so busy. But now it's like, you know, we can talk in all of those little 20-minute time periods that there isn't other stuff that you need to be doing, or you're waiting for something else, or, you know, you're all the different kind of in-between times you can fill with learning new things or getting to know people better or spending time with friends or colleagues. It's pretty cool.
Okay.
Yes.
So I want to close this talk. I have to, because it's 1 hour, and I know you are busy. You have your work day on the start. I've done my work all this
You
day.
did it!
It's evening for me. But do you have one last advice for our community? One personal advice?
I do. I would say, if you are thinking about live streaming, don't think, just do it. But if you're worried about being on camera or something like that, one of the first things that you can do is just make little snippets talking to yourself. Like video yourself every day for like a week or so, telling yourself how your day went, reflecting on your day. Think of it as a video journey, or journal rather. There are these TV shows where they're building a house, and they'll do this in the side where the person talks to the camera and say how they're feeling. Just do it like that. Just start the practice of talking to yourself on camera, and you'll be fine. And remember, you're not necessarily going out saying, I'm worried because I'm talking to thousands of people. When you speak to the camera, speak as if you're speaking to your one friend. Because when that person hears the way you're speaking, like you're speaking to one friend, they will think you're talking directly to them. My mother-in-law watches YouTube, and she watches this lovely vlogger lady who makes Japanese recipes. And in her head, Moy and her are best friends because Moy's talking to her every day. And I'm like, Moy has 250,000 viewers. Wow. But as far as my mother-in-law, Setsuko, knows, Moy is talking directly to her. And once I caught that, you know, from like a 75-year-old lady to like some 30-some-odd-year-old lady in Japan, how she thinks that, I was like, that's the ticket. That is the win. Absolutely. When you can pull that off with your users, you'll be fine. So just do it. Just don't be afraid. And then hit me up in the community if you need anything. I'll help you.
Sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I would echo that. I think it's really, really easy to overthink it and to want to be absolutely perfect and to miss out on the value that you can bring to someone. Every single person watching, every single person out there has something that they can contribute, has a piece of knowledge that they can share. You have valuable content that you can bring to another person to build a community, to build relationships. So don't let the tech and the overthinking get in the way of that. Start small and work your way up. As someone who was terrified and violently against even the concept of being on video, I have past coworkers who I literally would walk out when we had to do like training and tutorial days where I had to speak on video because I am a terrible overthinker. It's so much fun, and I would have been filled with such regret had I not just forced myself to get comfortable with it and to feel okay with not looking the way I want to look or sounding the way I want to sound or being as flawless as I think I could be in my mind. So don't let it get in the way. There's lots of chances to learn all of the different things that you want to get to, but start.
Yeah, great. And I can tell both of you are doing a really good job. So
I know these fun things. I'll have to find these widgets that you have. These are amazing.
I love her confetti. Her confetti is awesome. Just remember, don't stress out people because it'll make you pull your hair out.
Don't. Keep your hair.
Absolutely. So thank you so much for your time, and I'm looking forward for our next talk, I guess in 2 or 3 months, maybe earlier. I don't know.
Sure, yeah.
You have so many great spirit to bring to the German community. So thank you so much for your advices, your tips, and your patience with the German community. Thank you.
Of course. Thanks for all the work that you've been doing in the German community. I love that there are all of these groups, whether they're by niche or language, of people who are getting to know each other and supporting each other. It's incredibly valuable. So keep at it, keep asking questions, keep checking back in. We'll be hanging out in this group as well. So we're here. We can help in any way.
Okay. Yes. Thank you.
Danke.
Hi, everyone.
Sehr gerne. Tschüss.